On my side, I normally don't do any screen share. Sometimes Julie pops something up. Um, Again, I'll primarily just be talking about new features and things that I'm excited about coming down the pipeline. As I mentioned, it does seem like time is just flying by leading into spring here. And it really feels like we had this last call just yesterday. So we've been hard at work, heads down, working, getting everything together and proceeding forward. The list kind of remains the same for me. Always put that reminder up front here that we used to have blue buttons on the back end, on the bottom of the back ends for support tickets and videos and things like that. Now on the right hand side, there's a help center button that'll allow you to get to the knowledge base, to see the new features page, and as well as over to the YouTube page and over to the support ticket desk as well. Definitely recommend checking out that new stuff page once or twice a week. We are doing our best to keep that updated. In fact, we have a new meeting every Friday where we're spending a couple of hours with a handful of guys just every week, making sure that everything that needs release notes get them. That's become the weak link in the past couple of months, past month or so, really. As far as things I'm really excited about, and I know some of y'all who've been coming here every week are going to get tired of hearing about these things, but dynamic quote time, very exciting. Right now, you're quoting times based off of arbitrary numbers that you're putting in a mileage-based structure, mileage-based matrix on your generally global zoning and pushing that globally on a per location basis. In the future, we'll be using the dynamic quote dynamic prep times plus drive times plus a dynamic buffer of sorts to quote the ETA for consumers on when their order will arrive after they have placed their order. Setting expectations is definitely more than half the battle. So having this system, the new system, to quote much more accurate delivery times is going to make a world of difference for everybody. We are working through a lot of things with the new driver app. We were just talking about getting the official release of that out there soon. Putting that out, that's exciting for me. It's been a lot of work coming, and the way we have that all set up now, we can just add new features, new things to it really quickly on the fly. It's going to be great, much better framework and just overall foundation and structure for the new app than as opposed to the prior app. As many of you know, we do have integration with the Uber Eats, Postmates, third-party driver integration. What that is it allows you guys to tap into using their driver pool. Generally, we recommend, of course, trying your best to keep your own driver pool and fully own every order. But in times of need, when you have 2 drivers out and 7 orders or something on the board, it can help to remove one of those dominoes that's about to make everything fall over, so that everything else remains good to go. Pluck one of the orders out, drop that onto a third-party driver. It's not fully global yet, so some of you are like, "Whoa, hey, that's cool. I want that." Well, it's not fully global. We're working on getting that to be fully global soon. That's one of the things I'm excited about. As well as adding to the companies that we're integrated with there, so we go beyond the Postmates, Uber Eats setup, and hit up Lyft and DoorDash as well as parties that we'll be integrated with that you guys will be able to tap into to send orders to their drivers. Again, not depending on their drivers, not a business model where you don't have your own drivers likely wouldn't end up being profitable, but this is something that we see helping for both really brand new small markets, established small markets, as well as markets that are doing hundreds and hundreds of orders a day. You got the driver onboarding stuff out there. We got the TripAdvisor integration also kind of floating around. I'm excited about these changes that we're making to the consumer app so that we won't have to go through and manually update each individual one in the future. It'll take us like 6 months probably to get everybody set up in a manner in which we can have everybody on a unified push. But once we're there, it's going to be awesome and super helpful. And that'll allow us to push updates out to the apps just incredibly fast as well. That was kind of my written list that I've been going off of for a little bit here. I'm going to kind of just rattle my brain, go through some developers, make sure I'm not missing anything super cool as well. So a lot of fixes for partner pay stuff going out. We just spent a lot of time scrambling and getting all that 1099 stuff worked out as well. If you're having any 1099 questions or issues, please just reach out via support ticket, including the email of the entity who's having the issue. I'll have Joe look straight into that. Really also looking through a lot of, Julie will have feedback on this, but a lot of updates for GFO stuff have been getting pushed out lately, which is beneficial to the entire network as well. A lot of point of sale integration updates and stuff like that too, coming for Julie and a developer named Nick. And really, I mean, that's kind of it. I don't have too much. Does anyone have questions about anything I went over, or questions about anything that I didn't go over? We started working again on that linked locations thing again this week. I know a couple of you guys were interested in that, so that's getting worked on again. Anything else? Any questions for me? I mean, I've been kind of putting the same thing out there for the past 2 or 3 weeks, just to be honest.
Matt, I got something. So I got the alert to download the test app a couple days ago. I've been having it uploaded and I signed into it fine, but I've had 3 drivers now that have tried to get into it and it won't let them in. So when they push on talk to support or even forget password, it sends them an error code.
Interesting. Do you know what the error is that it's sending them particularly?
Actually, I got a text here. Let me pull it up.
It's Eric, right?
Yeah, Eric with these E's. Tell you what, go to somebody else and then I'll find it.
Heard. And obviously, if you want to hit me with a direct message on Slack or an email, or sorry, rather a ticket on it, either way, I will look into that further.
Sounds good. Like I said, I've not had problems with it, but you know, I figured the first driver was just user error, right? And then I got the second and then the third. So I was like,
yeah.
What was that for?
That was the driver app, right, Eric? The new driver app. There's a lot of updates constantly going on with that, and just to be honest, like I'm not fully keeping track of every iteration on that side of things. It could have been a blip, like an issue. I would honestly, if that was like more than 48 hours ago, I would ask them to try again, and then like delete anything that is related to DeliverLogic or DriverLogic they have, and then download it again, try it. If it doesn't work still, hit me with a ticket or a message, including the email address of the person, and we can take further for you for sure.
Gotcha, because I know I had them delete it and then reinstall it, and it went back to the old version.
Got you. And they're iOS or Android people?
I think this one in particular was Android, but I know one last night was iPhone.
Heard. Yeah, I'll circle back through. And if you want to, I can add you to what's called in Slack. There's a DriverLogic testers channel where we have added some people who are like providing solid feedback regularly on the new app. Would you like to be invited into that?
Yeah, that'll work. And I got the picture. I'll screenshot it to you. Basically, it's just going through some code when they put forget password. It's HTML and then head and then title whoops. The page requested could not be found, and then head body whoops that couldn't be found, and then division body HTML underneath it. So I'll send a screenshot of it.
Thank you. I've added you to that channel.
Okay.
if anybody else would care to be added to the DeliverLogic Testers channel, really the criteria would be that you or your drivers are using the new app and you are willing to provide detailed feedback if you're having an issue. Just let me know and you shall be added.
Now we got a question from Alex about third-party driver in the chat.
All right, first, so I see your chat over there. I see your image and I'm looking at it. Anything that has a blue background, just as a kind of pre-disclosure, I guess, anything that has a blue background on the screen, when it primarily, you're probably seeing this when someone's screen sharing with you. Anything highlighted in blue is only accessible to like our master support account. So only DeliverLogic can alter those. However, the image in question here is regarding the third-party driver stuff that I was mentioning. What's displayed here is a quote mode, both pick up and drop off. To be honest with you, I'm not 100% positive on that. I believe you just want to keep it in pick up and drop off. And then delivery via Postmates. So what it's showing on there is that they're going to be able to pick the food up in 27 minutes. And then from now, and they estimate they'll be able to drop the food off 48 minutes total from now. And the cost to have Postmates do it on the order in question here would be $9.86 to cost to send that order to have Postmates deliver it. Honestly, I don't really know the both pick up and drop off drop down there. I'm pretty positive that I've never seen anybody use it in a different manner than quoting for both. Does that answer your question kind of at all, Alex?
It does, because it does give you those 4 options on the drop down. And then on that 27-minute pickup, I've only used it a couple times so far, but I was trying to figure out where it gets it, if it's like getting it from the order itself.
It's getting it back from Postmates, so it's
Postmates.
literally just saying like, "Yo, hey, Postmates, we got this thing at this spot. How soon can you guys get us a human over there?"
All right, yeah, because I've seen it ranged from like 0 minutes to like 30 minutes, and I was just trying to figure out if I need to place that order ahead of time before quoting or not.
Right. I'm pretty sure that auto dispatch, if you're using AD, is looking if it's not a manual placement scenario. I'm pretty sure that AD is looking at Postmates' response, third party driver response, and saying, okay, hey, this order is on third party. It says third party is going to get there in this long. Therefore, like we use it just like when we decide once we decide a driver for an order, we know how soon they're going to get there, and then so we same thing on the Postmates side.
Okay. Perfect. That answers my questions.
Indeed. And just another note regarding that, guys. Again, some folks on the call are likely testing the third-party driver stuff with us. It's not fully global at this time, but we do have plans to make it be fully global in the coming months. Very excited for it. I'm not 100% sure if we're seeking to add. I heard somebody ask the question of if we're going to try to add Lyft and DoorDash prior to going global with it. I'm not 100% sure. It's a possibility that we'll have to add them in prior to going global versus going global and then adding them in. Jeff, Food Fetch, to see you got your hand up.
All right, there we go. Sorry about that. So question about features real quick. So last week, I brought up the question about the the zoning and drawing the map. So you can do different fees or different zones. That feature seemed to not be working correctly. And I was on the phone with David. We got it all working, and then all of a sudden, the customers were getting charged a fee that they weren't supposed to. So I removed the delivery fees right now. Devin said it had something to do with the GFO, and he was going to look into it, and he hasn't gotten back to me yet, so I just kind of removed it on my own. Have you noticed or had any problems with that particular zoning with the mapping as far as like geo, fencing off an area?
Well, when it comes to polygons, defining a zone with a polygon, polygons are not brought over into GFO. So if this is a issue regarding polygons plus GFO and then GFO related issues spurring from polygons, really, right? Then that's going to kind of be like a known issue. If you're getting orders outside of the polygon, I mean, honestly, a support ticket with me and Julie looking at it will get your situation resolved, guaranteed. We're between me and Julie, we're definitely like the GFO. I'm the OG GFO expert. Julie definitely knows more than me now, but I'm the original holder of knowledge.
No, perfect. Okay. Well, I mean, like I said, I have it off right now. It'll work fine the way I have it, but in the future, I'll still put a ticket in, and then in the future, if I do something like that again, at least it'll be working when I do activate that for sure. So, no, I appreciate it.
What did you say you did though? Because you said you removed all your delivery fees or something. I want to make sure you're not in a bad spot right now.
So what I did was in the city of Oswego, New York, I created a zone, a polygon that in the city of Oswego, the city limits, I was charging 0 delivery fee. And then if you order on the outskirts of that, then that's when it would charge the delivery fee. But because I only have the distance from the restaurants to cover the inner city only until the 13th of March, because we have an agreement with the city of Oswego, I took it off, and it'll work just like it would be the other way. I'm just looking for future reference. And the other thing that the reason why I didn't expand it more is because I have an additional fee that I charge to the customers. You can't, it doesn't allow you to do it by zone on that one, which that'd be kind of cool if it allowed you to. But again, this is the first time that I needed to do it, so I don't think there isn't a lot of requests for that. But I think I have it, Matt. To be honest with you, it's just that it didn't work the way that it's supposed to because of GFO. Is what I'm gathering, what you said and what Devin said. But I just removed the delivery fees, and then at the end of the 13th, starting the 14th of March, I can just put my delivery stuff back in normal mode and then collect my money from the city. So I think I'd be fine. I'm not even going to worry about a ticket because I don't think I'm going to be doing this again like this way. This just doesn't work properly.
Matt, you're
Oh,
on.
sorry, I was on mute. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sorry about that, Jeff. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, don't worry about it. I mean, like I said, it's already been taken care of, and I just deleted it for right now. So, but no, I appreciate it.
Roger that. Sorry about that. All right. Guys, anything else regarding new features?
Do you think is the customer app? Is there going to be any new things added to that? Is that considered a feature, or is that just
not yet? It's so really like the where we're at right now is we're still trying to get everybody brought up to date on what is like right now the new app, right? Then once everybody's brought up to date, and during the time, folks who are already up to date, we're going to be doing like this behind the scenesy thing. So the idea is right now to get everybody up to 5.0. Once everybody's at 5.0, or once a client is at 5.0, we can do a task process that will allow us to basically add them to an auto update list. And then once we get everybody on that auto update list, we need to get everybody to 5.0. Then we need to get everybody that's on 5.0 set up to be on this auto update list. Once everybody's on the auto update list, then we can start adding bells and whistles really quickly to every app with the click of one button. as
Yep.
opposed to going and updating 300. We'll just update one spot, and then all 300 or 400 will be updated.
No, that makes sense. I just had some complaints in the new market on how the customer app is. I guess a lot of customers were confused by using it compared to what other third-party apps are for customer side. So I didn't know if you guys are looking at that on the roadmap or not.
I would say probably within 4 or 5 months we'll start really gathering known issues and requests, and within 6 months we'll probably actually we'll be in a position where we'll be able to auto update, and we'll start working on the first like massive, true, big update. Exciting stuff, especially since I'm handling a lot of the app pipeline stuff. It would be amazing to be able to update everybody at once as opposed to each individually over time. It takes a lot of work. All right, guys, definitely appreciate y'all coming to the call today. I'm going to pass it off to Julie for POS integration and GFO. Julie, how are you today?
Hey, I'm good, thank you. Hi, everyone. So I am actually going to do a screen share. A couple new things that I just think will be easier to explain. By doing a screen share, it's coming up. All right. So I wanted to bring everyone's attention. I do talk about this often on this call, but the few knowledge base articles that I have on GFO, there is this one article that I've talked about often, submitting a ticket with this format of a list of your restaurants that are not showing on GFO, and we can't figure out why. You can just copy this format. This is an example here of a restaurant in question. However, I added this part to the article at the top. Please, before you submit a ticket with a list of restaurants, go ahead and check out this other article, which is kind of a checklist of what you need to have always for a restaurant to show on GFO. This eliminates just some easy fixes that you have control over before submitting a ticket. So some of them are real simple, making sure you have at least one of these boxes checked. ASAP orders have to be on, making sure that you do not have hide from restaurant or hide from customers or catering. Those boxes need to be unchecked. Also, this is something that's pretty common. If you make a duplicate copy or a clone of a restaurant and you're already utilizing GFO, just let me know to make sure that new restaurant is disabled, because if you have two restaurant profiles with the same address and the same name, they can block each other out from GFO. Now, we should have an internal check in place that would mark the newest one as a duplicate, but we're still seeing some oddities with that. So if for some reason you create a duplicate restaurant and a couple days later your original one falls off from GFO, that's probably the culprit, and I can fix that for you pretty quickly. And another thing I'm going to add to this, oh, it's right here, making sure the name and the address match as what is listed on Google. So if you go ahead and Google that restaurant, and in the Google business listing on that page that comes up when you Google it, if that address does not match what you have in your restaurant profile, there's a big chance that could be the reason why that specific restaurant is not showing on GFO, you could simply change the address you have, make sure it matches. Even we've had clients who've accidentally put a completely wrong address. And so that's a good thing to check. Is there a report that one could pull? So there is an internal report currently only DeliverLogic support has access to, but I know there has been conversation about making more of this GFO reporting accessible to you all. And of course, we'll keep you posted as soon as that does become available. I can always, if you submit a ticket, I can always just pull that report for you super quick and send it back to you. Jacques raised his hand.
I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me? I'm having a problem with my.
Yes,
speakers.
I can hear you.
I just put in chat as well. If you change your, if you change the address to match what it says in Google, but it's not the accurate address, then you're going to have, then we'll have problems with distances as well as drivers not finding it if they're unfamiliar with it.
So then I would suggest reaching out to the restaurant and making sure they update their Google business listing to their correct address.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, they would have to change that. Of course. So these are some good things to check. Again, you can go to the knowledge base and just in the search bar, do GFO, and all of these articles will show up. There's also a list of all the categories and then the articles within the categories to the left. So once you've gone through these basic checks, then you can go ahead to submitting a ticket with the restaurants that are still not showing. Please use this format. And I've mentioned this on the last couple of weeks, but we do have some new tools from Google that help us search reasons why this is happening much easier now. If it's a huge list, I'll probably send it off to Google to check, 20 restaurants or more. Now, if it is one or two and it's, kind of a stumper for us and we can't figure it out, I can check myself, but it would be more efficient if you can send a bigger list that we can check all at once instead of doing them one by one. That would be much appreciated. All right, and then, before I go into POS stuff, any other GFO comments or questions?
Any word on being able to fix, and maybe it's just me, all the GFOs, every GFO says out of area on the dispatch screen.
Yeah, so that is because you have the zone column on your on your dispatch board, correct? It's showing up as that's the zone. So
right, and
Matt,
before.
yeah,
it's just something that happened last month.
Yeah, so maybe Matt can help me with this, but I think if a restaurant gets a GFO out of area order, that zone gets auto-populated, and then that is just part of like the zone that it falls under when a GFO order comes through moving forward.
I would have to look at a few order numbers just to really see what's up. But yeah, I mean, your explanation is pretty much accurate there, where if, GFO and RDS Logic kind of speak differently in terms of distance. And when some of those orders that come in that are out of your actual, your actual zone that you have, if it's not
No,
in
but
your, go ahead.
they're not out of the zone. It could be like literally next door.
Got you. Yeah, I'd have to dig into a particular order on that one, Jacques. Not positive off the top of my head.
Okay, yeah, it's universal. It's not just on one order, just so you know. It started about a month ago, and it's really helpful to see when they are actually out of area GFOs and the drivers can be gone for an hour and a half.
Got you.
rather than, you know.
Yeah, I have a feeling it might be happening with, like, as soon as a restaurant gets an out of area GFO order, it populates that zone, and then that zone just gets kind of stuck on the restaurant, and it shows that's the zone no matter the distance of the order. That's kind of what I'm thinking is happening. And we might have to have a developer look into why that's happening.
Yeah.
I will send you tickets, Matt. Thank you.
Yeah, send some orders. I mean, if it's happening with pretty much all of your orders,
Every order.
yeah, it's probably pretty easy to find a couple of recent order numbers, even if I just go to your dispatch board right now. So, and I have asked some colleagues about that notice, and I wasn't particularly sure exactly where you were seeing that GFO out of area, but now I'm sure that it is that zone in the column on your dispatch board. Is fillable on, could I fill that out? The GFO out of area is fillable on the locational level. Could I fill that out and use it for all my GFO orders, separate from my Delphi structure on non-GFO orders? I believe the GFO out of area zone is only can be interacted with by DeliverLogic support users.
It would also get tricky though, because if even if you did have access to see the out of area zone or whatever, in the global zoning on the location level, when it comes to zone-based fees, you're only able, like zone-based fees for the global defaults and the update all, you're only able to push one zone to every restaurant. So you want to make sure you have like your primary zone pushed out to all, because even if you did have access to the GFO out of area zone, and you were to make that your default zone and push that to all, you would be losing your primary zone off of all of them as well. So it would get tricky.
Okay. Is it possible to use two different zones, one just for GFO and then one for everything else, so that GFO displays the
Not really right now.
on their sites better?
Not really right now. After this call, Julie and I have a discussion on how to make potentially the delivery fees higher on GFO. Is your goal to make them higher or lower?
Well, like when I look at the search for a restaurant, like it'll say us, but it'll say that the fees range from like $1.99 to like $18. Right next to it, it says
the range thing. Julie, you're working on the range, aren't you?
Yeah, so that is actually, right now we're sending Google all of the tiers, and that's how they get the range. And we're trying to, or the goal, the idea, the theory is to just send them the first tier as what to display for that delivery fee, and have some sort of verbiage like delivery starting at $2.99 or something like that. And then of course, when the customer goes in and creates the order and they get to the checkout page, it will be the true delivery fee, but at least on the beginning menu page, it will not show a crazy range like that. But that is a work in progress.
Gotcha.
All right. Any other GFO questions, concerns? All right. I'm going to move on to POS. So I've been talking about Clover for a while. It is active on one restaurant right now. I have mentioned this article to you all the past few weeks. It is here in the knowledge base. It's a quick read, only a few paragraphs. There is a video here I encourage you to look at, but this video is meant for your restaurant. And the process for now is going to be, this will probably be for the next few weeks, using this JOT form. Send this JOT form to your restaurant partner, have them fill it out. Make sure they watch the video. The link is right here. So this form is meant for your restaurant partner. They'll fill out who you are, who they are. And there are some screenshots that are part of this video that explains how they can get their API token, which they will put here, and how they can get their merchant code, which they can put here. And then once they hit submit, I will get this form, and so will you, as long as they put your correct email in this form, in this field right here. And that will pretty much get the process started. Once we get this information from your restaurant partner, once we get this form, all we really have to do on the DeliverLogic backend, and right now it's only available to support agents, but we put in those two fields, the API token and the merchant code. I pull the menu, and we can take a look at the menu. You can take a look at the menu, make sure the restaurant has everything well organized within their POS. And as long as the menu is looking good, that integration will be live. We can always go back and revert back to whatever your original method of order placement is, whether it's order logic or call-in or email fax, any of that stuff. Probably a good idea to, before we make the integration live, before we input those pieces of information to the back end, work with your restaurant a little bit and the way they have their menu set up in their POS, making sure they don't use any sort of shorthand for the titles of their menu items or their modifiers. Having descriptions in there is really nice, because whatever they have in their POS is how the menu is going to look once we pull it through and display on your website and app as well. I haven't seen, I think I've seen one of these come through organically from one of our clients, but it is here. It's here for you all to use. And probably later today or tomorrow, I'll be sharing a promotional flyer. So we did get some pricing worked out. It's here at the top of this article. But for the month of March and the month of April, this integration will be free of charge. So anyone who can get their restaurant signed up and we get it live for them, it will be free for March and April. And then come May, we'll start it at $25 per month per restaurant. So it's a very good value, less than our middleware companies that we're currently using. I will say this is for Clover only. Each POS is going to be different and require a different amount of work and man hours from our developer team and other DeliverLogic staff. So the prices for the individual POS integrations will probably vary. And of course, we'll display that. It will be easy information out there for you all to see. And then I wanted to show you guys that as well. What we're going to do probably after the introductory period is over, so probably within the next couple of months, we're going to have a POS tab available for you all to have access to on the individual restaurant profiles, where you yourself can go and simply input the information you get from your restaurant partner and do the POS integration yourself. So you'll have your API token from your restaurant, you'll have your merchant code, there'll be a couple of fields under a tab that says Clover, and you put them in there and hit save, and that will pull the menu through. And then on the restaurant profile, you'll switch the method of order placement from whatever you have it to POS. And that will be that. Of course, we'll have some more instructions on that once that tab is available to you all, but that's the end goal. For all of these direct integrations actually is to provide a great cost for it, a competitive cost, and have you guys have more control over the integrations. Nice, yeah. So before I move on to one other POS thing, any questions about what I've talked about so far? All right. So we did launch this kind of, I think it's a cool feature right now. It is only, oh, you all have access to it. So if we have a POS integration right now through one of our middleware companies. If you go to the menu, so this is an example, Cafe Carmela. I would have to, or a DeliverLogic support member would have to enable this feature for you, but once we enable it, it is on a support-only POS area on the restaurant profile right now. It's called item availability. It's just a checkbox. I check it for you, I hit save. Then magically you have this ability to change the item availability of the menu items and the menu sections that come through on a POS integrated menu. So the reason we did this is because there are some POS systems that have very limited capabilities. For example, Clover is one of them, where a restaurant can only have one menu. The menu is the menu. They can't really say, this is my breakfast menu only available from this time to this time, and this is my dinner menu only available from this time to this time. It is a limitation of that POS system. Most restaurant owners that use that just train their staff to know only order these items at this time, only order these items at this time. But when there is a integration involved, the restaurant owner doesn't have that ability to make those limitations. And until recently, the RDS did not have the ability to make those limitations on menu items, but now we do. So you can, if you go to the menu of a POS integrated restaurant and you click on the menu header, you'll see this batch availability here. And you can select the shifts that you want that every item in that menu header to be available for. And then you would, and the days of the week too, maybe it's only a Friday special, so you uncheck all the other days, and then you click update. And it should, you can double check by clicking into an item that is inside of that menu header and scroll down. Once you click update, you should see that reflect here as well. And then to triple check, you can go to your customer facing site, make sure you refresh the page if you were already there, and look at how the menu is displaying to the customer. You can change like the time of the order and see which items display and make sure they're displaying properly. The only trick is if you change one menu header, you'll have to go through and change all the others. So let's say small plates was only available for breakfast and I want to leave everything else all day the way the menu pulls in, I'll change this to breakfast only and hit update. Then I'd have to go through these other ones. You can leave it whatever the POS had. If it pulls through, it'll say weekly hours POS integrations. This is just how the POS has it. You'll just have to go through each section and hit update, and go through and hit update, and so on and so forth. Well, this menu category is empty, but so keep that in mind. If you change one and you don't want to change the others, you'll still have to go through them and just click update. So if anybody wants to use this or needs to use it on currently POS integrated restaurants that use one of our middleware companies, let me know and I'll turn it on for you. It is something new we just did for you all. Any questions on that? All right. Well,
Hey, Julia.
yes, go ahead.
So when I put in that request and it's supposed to, and it went to Charlie, I was talking to Joe and I have to put a ticket in and with you, I guess, and so we can deactivate that, because if not, then there's going to be a monthly charge. So I'm going to put that ticket in today, and then
Okay.
I'll send you a message with that ticket number.
Okay, sounds good. All right. Any other questions about GFO or POS integration?
I have another question on POS integration. So with It's a Checkmate, when we are out of something, and it could just be, and I'm going to use my restaurant as an example. When I do a sellout on my POS system, isn't It's a Checkmate supposed to pull that information at nighttime and then mark it inactive or out of stock on It's a Checkmate side, or do I still have to do that manually?
So I believe, I'm 99.9% sure that Prism is not a two-way sync.
Okay.
So you would have to go into your It's a Checkmate portal and make that change there as well.
Is Clover a two-way sync?
It is, yes.
Perfect. Okay. That answers my question. Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, that's all I have for today. Matt, did you want to add anything, or do we have anything else we need to go over?
I do not have anything additional today. Again, we do have 5 total classes throughout the week. Monday, you got Dave's training class at 3 p.m. Central Time, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Tuesday, you've got Devin's marketing party, same time there. Tuesday, Joe Mergio, CEO, teaches a class on Wednesdays at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You got me and Julie coming in here today, and also you got Dave Long with the new Saturday class, Saturday 3 p.m. Eastern Time till 5 p.m. Eastern Time. So that's a pretty cool one there too. Thanks for joining us today. Stay in touch with us through whatever channels you guys have, and have a great remainder of your week. Thanks a lot, guys.
Hey,
Thank you,
Matt.
guys. Aloha.
Thank you.
Hey,
Thanks,
Matt.
Jacques. Jeff, what you got?
So I tried to turn on, I was hoping you could help me just real quick. I went in and turned on the gap fee in the settings. So I have it where it says no override. And then I went underneath locations, underneath additional charges, and enable it. But it's not showing up underneath that location when a customer does the order.
Hey, let me try to troubleshoot that for you real quick here. Let's see.
And I'm trying to
Jeff, what
put
location?
Oswego.
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 All right. What are you doing now? You said gap fee, so I'm just going to go there first. Gap fees are going to be inside the locations area, additional charges, gap fee. And currently, I see it enabled.
Yeah. And then I also went into the settings and searched gap fee, and and then to the right, it says it's checked. It says enable gap fee, and then to the right, I have it as no override. That means that it's active, right?
Let me go into your site settings and just double check
Yeah.
real quick too.
Because if I override it, that means that I'm going to turn it off. That's what my was.
That's correct.
Okay.
It all depends on what the status is on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So
that should be set properly, I do believe. So you're saying it's
So
not. Do you have minimum order values in place in that market?
Wait, one more time.
Do you have minimum order values in place in that
I
market?
do. I have $10 in there just to see, and then when I went into a restaurant, like J&J Cafe, and there was like a home fries for $3.75. It says that add $6.25 to meet your food minimum. It doesn't give me a choice to click on that.
Oh,
Yeah, I know it worked before because I had it and I disabled it in the settings, but now it's not working.
What's a good restaurant to test with in that market?
J&J Cafe.
Let me see if this one works. I just grabbed a random. The address is a weird one. All right, let's see what we're working with here. Let's find this cheapest item. We're gonna add a Pepsi. Pay $126 and check out now. Here, I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen real quick. So y'all, he's talking about what's called pay the gap, which means that you don't have to actually meet the minimum. So the minimum order from this restaurant is $10. So you'll see I can add 701. I've got $2.99 in my cart. I can add 701 of items, or I can just pay $1.26 and check out now. $1.26 is whatever commission you would be getting from that restaurant off of the 701. So instead of them adding 701, they're just going to pay you the commission you would have gotten off 701.
Including the markup percentage or the additional fees, or just the restaurant?
Just the restaurant commission value, I believe.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out why you're seeing that, and I don't see it on my side.
Are you
I'm
on
gonna
the
try
app?
it.
Or are you on mobile?
No,
Or are you on desktop?
I'm on the desktop right now.
I'm on desktop clearly here as well. Give it a hard refresh. If you guys just turned it on, maybe it could have been caching.
Yeah, let me try that out.
Also, just bear in mind that like commission and minimum orders have to be present on the restaurant in question.
Yeah, you'd have to have a commission on every restaurant.
Oh,
Well, actually,
so that's why.
If the commission is not there, it's just going to say, it should just say, hey, do you want to pay 701 or add 701 worth the crap? Actually, no, it wouldn't. There wouldn't be anything because like you get zero.
That's why, because right now I have no commission on there until the 13th of March. Okay.
That's what
All
it
right.
is.
So that's not going to work. Okay. All right. Okay. No, that makes sense. Now, if I do it for, let me just see something real quick.
I'm on KFC as example.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to go to Taco Bell real quick.
That's a pretty cool idea, right? How the pay the gap works, like either they can add $7.01 of food, or you can just get paid as if they did add that, but didn't. Whoever had that idea must have been smart.
Let me try this, and I probably have the minimum fee as 15. Okay, but that's what it is then. But what restaurant did you try?
KFC.
You did try KFC. All right, let me try KFC.
Well, I didn't just
to make
try
sure
it, Jeff. I approved it. I approved it here. I've displayed success.
Okay.
Of course, you have to have an address in and an item in your cart.
So I have that. Add. Okay.
If you don't have pay the gap on and you have minimum orders in place in your market, turn it on. It's basically just free money.
So I'm doing that for KFC, and it does not come up on mine. It just says I need to spend another $1.71 to meet my food minimum.
You're in the Oswego KFC.
Oswego KFC.
I don't buy it, Jeff. I don't buy it.
I'm telling you. Here, I'll share my screen. Well, I'll show you on my video.
You can share if you want. I'll stop sharing.
I'm trying to.
Oh, other one. It's the box with an arrow in it. Oh, you're doing it like that, eh? Tricky beans, Jeff.
Yeah,
Hold
that's
on.
right.
Hold on here, old school. All right. Log out, log back in. Give it another shot here. I don't
All right,
know.
hold on.
Are you cash?
Yeah, I cleared it all. Let me just try. You know what? Let me try an incognito mode.
Yeah, hit it incog for me if you don't mind. So especially like it feels weird, and I always hate having to tell people like, yeah, try clearing your cache and trying it again, because like obviously you can't tell like the average end user like that. But the reason we have to tell the clients that so much is because you guys are literally on your website all day, every day, hitting every possible URL extension of it. Your machines are cached like crazy on your site. So anytime you're like, what the hell is going on with this thing? Hold shift, hit refresh on your browser. That's the easiest way to clear your cache for the site. Or just try it in incognito and see, okay, yeah, it's working here.
Yeah, it's working.
That's
All
some heavy caching going on.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
Also try to make it a regular thing. Back in the day when I was operating my RDS on this platform, and just I've been interacting with the software for like 13 years. When I would always recommend, clearing your cookies and cache on all of your machines that you use for business, like once a week. Straight up, clear cookies and cache. Make it part of your routine. That's going to make your life easier. It's actually going to make your machine run faster.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you, guys.
Indeed.
Thank you, Julia. Bye.
All right.
Anything else from anybody here before we wrap up? All right, guys. Thanks a lot for your time today. Stay in touch on Slack. Talk to you guys soon. Later.